Hi everybody, this is Dion. On this week's Deep in the Sheets, we will be looking at visualized budget pacing. So the point of this budget document is to make it really easy at a glance to see where your budget pacing is going and how you are so far. So you can see right here, the gray line going up to the top is ideal. If we spend right along that gray line every day, we're right where our budget should be at every point in time. So right now you can see we're slightly under budget. Each square is the day of the week. And so we'd look at this today and say, hey, we might want to spend a little more to get back on pace to be exactly where we need to be. So to create this, we have a couple calculations. We'll go through all of this in a second here. The first thing we need to look at is how much we actually spend per day. So in this case, this is going to be for the month of November. We know there's 30 days and we have a budget of $5,000. So we'll just do a real quick 5,000 divided by 30. That gives us $166.67 to spend per day. We'll take that number, we'll plug it in this document over here, and you can see dragging down here, the ideal cost per day is $166.67. That makes an ideal trend, so the ideal trend is just basically this number versus the day before. So going down the list, you can see, jump back up here, you can see on the 8th of November, it should spend all the days prior to that plus another $166. So what you end up with is by the 8th of November, I should have spent $1,000.333. So we'll need to plug in this cost per day value. So these are just example numbers that we'll plug in here just for the sake of argument, just to see it. So we do that, we can see, and you know, there's so many numbers here. By the 15th of November, we should be at 50% of our budget, but in actuality, we're at 56%. So making this visualized is going to help us see that easier over time as trends. So we will add in a quick chart here. So I like to do a line chart. And the first thing we're going to want to do is just resize this, get it looking good. We'll want to remove certain sections of our data, so we don't need actual cost, we don't need trend. All we really need are the percents. We want to look at the percent per day over time. So the actual percent at that time versus the ideal percent at that time. Hit OK there. We got our two trends here. Looks a little funky like this, so I like to mess with the formatting. In this version of Excel, we just jump in here. This is going to be our gray line, so there are no markers. And the line style, the line color, we'll just make that a nice gray. Just kind of simple. That's where we should be. We'll change this one to only markers, so there's no line on this. There's no marker outline, and the markers are just a nice blue square. Perfect. So the last thing we see we need to do here is remove the days that haven't happened yet. Just jump down here. Of course, all you got to do is drag your time frame back up to the last day you actually have data for. So that's all it takes. At this point, you can see with these numbers, we were doing real good for a while. We were right on pace. We spent really high, spent a little low, and at this point, looks like we're at about 55%, well, 56% when we should be at 50. With this quick line chart, you can quickly see where your budgets are at that current point in time and over time versus where they should have ideally been.